Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're having a great day. We're going to take a quick look at XRP, see what's going on, of course, help you understand best practice and big picture. If you're new to the channel, CryptoCache.tech is a website I have so you can learn and become a better trader. And what does it entails a trading community, trading academy, where I teach you how to be a better trader, of course. And more importantly, I send out signals so you can learn how to structure your trades more effectively and help understand just best practice in this environment, because it's always changing and you need to be dynamic and not stick to the same old stuff. But also stick to what works too. Find what works and stick with it. Excuse me. So yeah, that being said, we'll go ahead and take a look at all that here today. So future reference, big picture, XRP has done very well in the past. It does have a tendency of going in its spurts. So just bear in mind that, this could be the start of something amazing or could be nothing at all. Honestly, it's hard to identify from a bird's eye view, but generally speaking, XRP has tremendous potential, of course. And, those who invest in it obviously believe in the big picture. So I recommend doing your own research. But that being said, let's go ahead and look at some of the data here. A couple of things I see pretty obvious. First and foremost, we're getting rejected by the, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I might clear my throat a couple times. I apologize for that. But we're getting rejected rather right at the 50-day simple moving average. So we see that here, trending right around 78 cents. We can see the price action came up above and now it's below, and it has worked as a resistance for a few days. Okay, so now that we're under the 50, we could potentially experience that as a continued resistance level. However, the more often you test a resistance, the more likely it is to break, and it's been tested a few times in the last week or two. So generally speaking, it could break through soon. That being said, we also have 50 on the RSI concurrently working as a resistance level. When those two things work in tandem, you can commonly see a type of rejection, so to speak, and it's common for them to both work together. So we can see those both here so far. Moving on to the MACD, not much to note here, of course, except for that we do have a shift in momentum. A bearish type of divergence is lacking. In other words, we're no longer seeing a bearish divergence, and we're starting to see them kind of subside and give way. In other words, it just really tells us that we see a potential shift in momentum here. It's not necessarily going to say, hey, as soon as those lines cross, you just take a position and go for it. That's not exactly how it works. It does generally kind of give us the concept, though, that we're losing bearish momentum, and that a turnaround is likely. Another thing to acknowledge too is that this support level here, and based on Fibonacci retracement, you can see, excuse me, right around 70 cents was a key level support previously. So the price came down here even when things were a little rough at the end of February, and it kind of bounced off and rejected there. Continued higher, came back down, and now it hit that support channel. So there's probably a tremendous amount of volume in this general area here, and I would speculate that we're probably getting to this point where we should be back up above a key level support. But the key here to understand is that right around 70 cents, the 0.236 on Fibonacci retracement is a pretty solid support area. And oftentimes when the price gets into that range, it gets rejected. Bitcoin is seeing the same thing right now with its most recent Fibonacci retracement. 236 is effectively holding the price action above 39,000. So it's kind of a similar scenario there. And that also goes to show too that, with Bitcoin, having a little more stability here so far, holding that trend line, XRP is likely responding in kind because of that. That I wouldn't say certainty or confirmation, because we don't have that just yet, but we do have a continuation of higher lows on getting printed on Bitcoin. It started at 35, 37, 38, now 39. It's continuing to maintain that trend line, and XRP is kind of following suit there. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, Bitcoin is not exuding this exact behavior, but this push and this amount of volume is important, because with increased volume increases the potential of the price breaking through those key level resistances, which we need. But right now we're trending between both moving averages, pretty standard stuff. Price came up to reject off of 70, of course, which is also very standard for the 4 hour. In fact, I prefer that. And if the price can continue to kind of subside and lower a little bit and come down to bounce off the 50, right around 74 cents, that'd be perfect. So hypothetically, the price continues down here and then comes right back up. That would be actually wonderful, so you can get a better price point. But in general, the 50-day SMA should essentially work as a support level now, which is concurrent with 50 on the RSI. Again, these correlate very, very synonymously in a lot of ways. So I would not be surprised if we do not see, well, that was a double negative, but I would be surprised if we see a price below that point. Okay, so 74 cents should be the new bottom, because it was essentially the top from before, and now that we're over 50 on the RSI, we can expect that to bounce. Right, so again, that's generally the concept of what that looks like. And if we look at TD sequential too, you can see that we got kind of a reset here and we're to the downtrend. So we could experience another 24 to 48 hours of downside. Try not to concern yourself if that were to be the case. It should likely bounce when we hit down here. Again, around 74 cents if it even comes down that far. It might actually hold here at this key level Fibonacci retracement of about 77.7. Okay. Looking at the 1 hour, excuse me. Let's go ahead and just double check a couple things here. First of all, TD sequential, we came up to a 9, got a reset. Big surprise, it comes up to a 9 and comes back down. So again, it was overextended going into this. That was a nice push, of course, tremendous amount of volume as we could see, but it had to kind of sell off because it got outside that standard deviation, that comfortable zone. If we look at standard deviation, of course, with the volume weighted average price, you can see it actually didn't get too far outside of those deviation lines. And the main reason why is because, of course, well, yes, we got a reset here, but generally speaking, we had enough volume to support this increase. So that's a really good sign. It really helps us understand too that with us being above the volume weighted average price line right now as well, we're maintaining a good price point, and the likelihood of it coming down from here is lower based on that sentiment alone, at least when you look at the smaller time frames. So again, big picture doesn't show that. The big picture does show that we have a shift in momentum to the upside, but it does look a little exhaustive on the 4 hour. However, you look at the 1 hour, it does tell us, of course, that we have that standard deviation that is working with increased volume, is causing better results, and the price isn't just retracing immediately because of it. That's why you want to pay attention to volume, because if you don't have it, then this is going to be all for nothing. Okay. All right. So again, just something to kind of consider and think about. We're probably likely above the cloud too as well. If we take a look at this, we have been actually for some time. So, contrary to Bitcoin getting rejected by the cloud, XRP is effectively embracing it. In other words, it broke through, came down to use it as a support, and the price continued higher. Just keep in mind, once again, bit on the overextended side. We hit a 9 on TD sequential. We've done maybe 7 to 10 hours worth of consolidation. We could experience a leg up, considering we have the volume to benefit from that. But there's also potential as well for the price to keep going sideways or down too. All right, so again, this does have somewhat conflicting information because the smaller time frame, 1 hour or lower, is giving us that confirmation we're above the volume weighted average price, which is important, but it is overextended going into that too. So I would say more consolidation to the side here, another 24 hours of sideways action. We can definitely experience a leg up likely this weekend. So it does appear that it's more likely to move up than down, but again, be prepared for 74 cents to be tested again. If so, that'd be a phenomenal place to add to your position because it would bounce off this previous high, establishing a new higher low, and just continuing to maintain this awesome profile that we have here so far. So I mean, honestly, you could take a look at this here and almost draw a straight line, and it's holding this trend line, right? So, again, heaven forbid the price were to come back down, we should experience 74 cents as the lowest point in which it'll go. Okay, so 74 cents is potential. It's also very strong potential. It's going to go sideways and up from here. I think the overall sentiment is that XRP should continue to progress upwards in the overall sense of things. It might correct itself a little bit, but again, it's got the volume to support this zone. So I think that's really awesome. It was able to break this little resistance there at about 77. So this should be the new support at 77. Once again, 74 is the worst case. So I hope that makes sense to you and I explained that correctly. But it is definitely looking good here. So just bear in mind, more positive than negative, telling us that we're more likely to see an increase over the next couple of days or perhaps even weeks, depending on how well Bitcoin holds 39 to 41,000. All right. That being said, I hope you learned something here today. Thanks again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. CryptoCache.tech is a site if you want to become a better trader. I do look forward to work with you. Take care. Thank you so much.